Columbia.
Wow.
University.
Interesting.
Ivy League.
PWI.
Fuck ups.
Very few, but very close.
So, BSO stands for Black Students Organization.
BSO.
Underrepresented.
Power.
Family.
Oh, I love them.
Black excellence.
Separated.
Tired.
Standoffish.
Very segregated. Revolutionary.
Exploited.
Love-hate relationship.
Lit.
The university has systematically excluded the history and culture and political theories of Black Americans from the curriculum.
The university has also systematically ignored the intellectual capabilities of blacks and their desire to learn. Therefore, the number of blacks in the university is extremely low.
The negligence of Columbia University is criminal when one considers the unique location of Columbia.
I definitely agree. I mean, you look at the core curriculum, like Lit on the CC, definitely like an absence of like black thought and intellectuality. I mean, I feel like at times it kind of like brainwash you with like Western, like European ideas, and it just gets old after a while. So I can definitely agree with this.
If anything, I feel like people on campus don't care anymore. Like, I've done my own things with like Columbia and Harlem / Morningside. I don't call it Morningside, but people call it Morningside Heights. And I've like had interactions where I've asked white students like, what neighborhood is this? You know, just so I can hear their reaction, like saying Morningside Heights. Despite me knowing that like a few blocks away, I have family in Harlem who lived in Harlem ever since segregation, you know, forced them to move from the South. And like as they're taking like this space, like it's just amazing that they can like really like sit here and just be completely either ignorant to it or completely like apathetic to it.
What that is, like, it's definitely criminal that we're in Harlem, and rarely do we actually engage with like Harlemites. Rarely do we ever have events where people from Harlem are actually welcome on campus without them being policed. Like, I walked around campus a couple of times and I've had CU, security, whatever they are called, like follow me around and ask me my ID, like, do you actually go here? I'm like, yes, yes I do. Yeah, no, it's such a tragedy that in the course of, from 1969 to now, like, the most progress we've made is like making up a few organizations. However, they're important, like they're very important organizations, but like we haven't necessarily affected the system the way we should have at this point. Like, because even if like you look at America, like we've come so far. I mean, there's still a ways to go, but like the institution of Columbia itself, like there's barely been any change in like what this is like, administration, faculty. Like you still won't see as many of them. Like they're next to 0 TAs who look like you, so like whenever your grades come through, you can't be like, hey, like let me get that bump, because like, nah, that never happens. Like nobody knows what that feeling is like to be a black, especially like in STEM. Like you rarely ever see like a black TA or a black professor. So like it's very hard to like envision doing well in those classes when like you look around you, you just see like a sea of white faces, like your professor is white or Asian or whatever ethnicity he identifies as, but you don't necessarily identify with them because like all he ever sees is a black kid, or you're the token black kid in whatever class you're in, and therefore you're like coming from the dumbest, or you're like from the base level. So he always talks to you like in a dumbed down. I'm like, I can understand what you're saying, but I choose to ask you these questions so that I can elevate myself in your class, or when I come to you and say, oh, I need this extra credit or whatever, you can be like, I remember your face, like, or some shit like that. So it's bullshit, but that's what you gotta do in Columbia.
Most Negroes at Columbia have considered themselves part of a community separated from the rest of the university, both by a unique black culture and what they believe to be white discrimination.
A new awareness, a new concern about black identity would awaken in the subculture as a new generation of Negro students arrived on campus.
Columbia's black community will continue to consider itself a separate entity within the university for some time, is certain.
This is a real article?
Yeah.
I don't think this is necessarily all that untrue because I don't necessarily feel very integrated to the white community at Columbia College. Like I don't feel like I do see separation for sure. But I don't know if I'm I'm necessarily like trying to be integrated because that's not really what I'm looking for either. So
I think there is two separate communities to a certain extent, but there's a lot more integration, I think, than was probably expected.
I think on paper we can say that we're an integrated college and campus, but because I feel as though like black students and white students, they're automatically put on this like line of diametrically opposing each other and like their views and viewpoints in classrooms.
I definitely don't feel bad for like not having any white friends or like not like joining or like feeling a part of any like white spaces or what I would conceive or like consider as white spaces here, just because like I don't know if I'm not like upset that white people don't feel that comfortable around me, and like that's as simple as that. So like I don't know.
Well, a relatively small percentage of black students on campus actually like clump together in that way, in the way that they're describing here, in this like very, very like segregated way. Because I feel like most people who are in BSO have friends who are not black. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people have close friends who are not black, who are not part of this. Black students, I think now, just because of like the time period, there's more branching out happening. Like black people on campus have the ability to branch out a little bit more than they probably did in 1967. But I still feel that like in a lot of ways, Columbia University, it is helpful to group together in that way. I found that it's helpful to have this like ready-made community that like understands, has like a singular understanding of my experiences, you know.
At Columbia, I would say, as a black student, I've had to find my niche, and that niche has been obviously the Black Students Organization. I think Columbia itself is not a place that is very caring about the black experience, if that makes sense. And you know, I don't necessarily know what the Columbia administration thinks about me or other black people, but I can assess what they think about me or other black people through their actions. People don't have very many black students here. I also know that they haven't stopped their efforts to gentrify Harlem. So you know, it's through their actions that I can assess what I think Columbia thinks about me.